Good morning. There's our tent spot. Got quite wet last night, and even though it looks like it's a pretty good slanted area, we really didn't notice there's a little bit of a divot down in this one area, and water just pooled there under the tent, and actually got a little wet, and ended up sleeping in a ball all night long. So we'll pay a little better attention next time. But anyway, we're off this morning, and yeah, should just be 2-3 miles to the road, and then we'll have to turn around and start backtracking and go all the way back to White Pass where we started a couple days ago. Pretty good rain last night. It wasn't, crazy or anything. Plenty of thunder and lightning, but again, not too crazy. And so, we have high hopes that a lot of this hit the fires. One of the fires is pretty close to here in the scheme of things, just a few miles away. And then there's some fires north, and there was supposed to be lots of rain there as well. So hopefully they got knocked down. It's cold this morning. It's about 42, but the sun is out, so that's good. Should warm up probably too quickly. We the original weather forecast we saw a few days ago said that there was supposed to be, rain off and on this whole week. So we'll likely see more rain, which is fine. But it only had one evening of thunderstorms, either Saturday or Sunday. And today's Sunday, so last night was Saturday. So anyway, we have high hopes that no more thunderstorms, just be rain, because we've got to turn around and go back through a lot of that exposed stuff that we did. We have to do again, right? So all that stuff up on those ridges, and that was hours of just hiking way up on top of rocks where you couldn't move very fast, and if there were thunderstorms, that would be really bad. So anyway, we're hoping that we'll just be able to just whirl right through that area and not have to worry about thunderstorms. So, well, we are at the end of our South Sobo hike. We have reached road 5603. This is the road we were trying to get onto the other day. So another 9 miles that way is where we met up with the park ranger that told us, turn around, you can't go this way. So yeah, and if we go right up here, we can see that the trail is closed. And we were joking last night that because of the rain, maybe the trail's been opened, and instead turn around, we can just hike all the way south to Cascade Locks. But of course it wouldn't happen that quick. And now I'm gonna break the law. Ooh! $1 million fine. Okay, we'll go back so I don't get fined. All right, well, we're gonna hang around a while, and then we're gonna head back and do everything again over the next couple days. All right, so we've been standing here at our closure sign talking, and we just made a new decision. We are not going to backtrack the trail, mostly just because we don't want to hike over the same thing we just hiked again. Also, it will be a little shorter to do it this way, but we're actually going to walk down these roads back to the town of Packwood, and then hitch back to the trailhead. It'll probably get us back maybe even like a half a day earlier, and it will give us a new little adventure. I mean, going down these roads isn't going to be super exciting, but it'll still be kind of cool, and we'll be crossing some big rivers, so we'll have water somewhere along the way, because we're not going to make it all in one day. It's like 29 miles, and it's already, what time is it, 8 o'clock or something? So somewhere tonight, we're going to be walking down a road like this, and we're going to have to find a place to tent. And that could be challenging, but, we can burrow back in the forest somewhere, or maybe we'll even find a trailhead like one of these and we can go back and find a tent site. But yeah, be a fun little different adventure. So we'll keep you posted. There's some pretty neat stuff even just walking down the road. We've been going for a couple miles now, and we're just scoping out water sources because you know, we don't have any kind of special maps or apps or anything telling us exactly where the water is, so we're just checking out on Google Maps and Gaia and some other sources. And that was a pretty one. That's literally just a few hundred more feet down the road. And we saw 2 more of those before the last one that I didn't video. And here's another one coming up. And so the trail that we were hiking, the trail that we hiked all the way, you know, south there's another one. The trail was literally just right up in there. And you know, there was so much snow up there, and there were even a couple of glaciers that we crossed. And so, you know, no doubt that stuff's just melting down through all these creeks and whatever, and just coming out. I mean, it's just coming out everywhere. Like, there's another one. And there's some more right there. There's another one there. Imagine if you lived on a road where this was just pouring out all the time of every crevice. Well, we shouldn't have any problem finding water. All right, here we are back at White's Pass. Just got dropped off by a trail angel who was at Cracker Barrel, not the Cracker Barrel that you're thinking of. Just a general store near the trail here that we had sent a package to a couple of months ago. So we just got that resupplied, had way too much food, gave it to one of the hikers that was also there. He was super happy. He probably got 5 days worth of food out of it. And we had a meal, had some tacos, and what else? It was really amazing. We were walking into town, and those people just picked us up and drove us the rest of the way. Otherwise, we were gonna be doing that road walk all day today and tenting on the side of the road, and then hiking into town tomorrow, getting to Cracker Barrel tomorrow, hiking out here tomorrow or early the next day, depending on the time. And here we are already back on the trail. So, boy, if it weren't for helpful people, do-gooders, this would all be much harder. So we thank everybody for sure. And now we're going up a hill like you always do when you leave a town and leave a pass, it seems like. And we're not going to go very far because it's probably like 4:30 or something. Looks like it could rain. And so, you know, we just want to maybe get up the mountain, find some water, find a good place to tent, get set up, and then we'll start rocking tomorrow. And I can't remember if I said it earlier, but we're heading towards Snoqualmie Pass. Should take us maybe around 4.5 days, maybe 5. And then we'll be on to Stevens Pass, which should take another 3, maybe 4 days. And Tiger Lily's looking forward to new shoes when we get to Stevens Pass. Then once we do that, we'll have a decision to make because there's another fire closure. So we can't hike through to anywhere else. So we'll either have to get a hitch around the fire and start up in the next location, or we could do kind of what we did here, or what we were planning on doing here at White Pass, which is hike in a ways to the closure and then hike back out, get a few extra miles. We're thinking we'll just go another couple miles to the next pond and maybe tent there. Good morning. It's a cold one again. It was really cold last night. We found a good little spot we just had to kind of make up last night. Just did about 5 miles coming out of White Pass, and just give us a little head start on today. And we're up early and going. Lots of water this morning, lots of ponds we're passing. Haven't really looked at what the rest of the day holds, so I'm not sure, but anyway, we've got 5 days worth of food, so we're feeling a little heavy. And heading towards Snoqualmie Pass. We just walked right past these two little guys. There's one, there's two. Well, it's almost exactly noon, and we've been hiking pretty much in the trees and by ponds and streams and stuff all day, and we finally, last 15 minutes, have been coming up high enough we could see a bit of a view. It's gorgeous out there. Yeah, we're almost to the top of this climb. All right, we just finished our climb up here, and yeah, stopped at the top, had some lunch, texted Melanie and asked her to send our passports so we can get to Canada here soon. Came from White Pass yesterday, heading towards Chinook Pass on the PCT, and this is what just came into view. And I know you can't see it very well, but man, is that massive. That is Mount Rainier, and that whole huge wide thing is it. And then way up there in the clouds you can see just the tip, barely, way up there at the top. That is one big mountain. Mount Rainier is pretty cool. I can't wait to get better views of it. Well, we hiked around the east side of Rainier, and we finally got a pretty decent view. Hardly any clouds obscuring it or anything. Wow. Magnificent. You can't really see the full width of it, but hey, amazing. Well, it's been a mostly overcast day. The sun came out for a couple hours there, popped in and out a little bit, but now it is really overcast and clouds are thick, and you know, there's been a chance of rain and will be for this week, so we'll see what happens tonight. We were kind of hoping that there'd be a little bit of sun so we could get down here to the lake where we're thinking of tenting and maybe dry out sleeping bags, and I would love to wash my socks really well and get them dried out before morning, but it doesn't look like that's probably going to happen. All right, here's Dewey Lake, where we might be tenting tonight. There were a couple of spots back there, but I think we might find something better, so going a little further here. What a big, beautiful lake. Wow. All right, here it is, maybe an hour later, Dewey Lake. Right there is where we had our dinner. It was nice and sunny and warm because it's fairly cool out and there's a nice cool breeze, and so we were pretty cold. And yeah, threw some of our stuff out there to dry, sleeping bags and various things that were a little damp. And we got set up right here. And hopefully it'll be a good night. We'll sleep well. We need to get an extra hour of sleep or so, just to make up. So, and we're off. Another brisk Washington morning. It's kind of a winter wonderland we're in this morning. Amazing. What a magical morning it is here in the Washington Cascades. We're not getting very far because you can't turn the corner without some amazing sight. These clouds, what's going on up in the sky, or amazing pond around the corner, little stream out in the meadow. All we need is like a herd of elk to come running through, roaring through. We're coming out of the forest and there's Highway 410 there. Unfortunately for us, Highway 410 doesn't go anywhere good. Well, not anywhere necessary for us right now. It goes into Rainier National Park. That's what Tiger Lily tells me anyway. And then it goes quite a long ways away to the town of Yakima. But there's just no need to stop and try to hitch or anything for that. So there's also a parking lot up here we're hoping has trash cans that we could get rid of a little weight, throw away some of our garbage. But we'll see. And on a side note, we've been talking about just really wishing there was trail magic up here. My hunger has gone to a new level recently. You know, for quite a while it was at the point where, you know, I was hungry. I'd go into town and really eat and enjoy it. And, you know, out here I was eating like a half of a bar every hour, and then it kind of escalated to where I was eating maybe a half of a bar 1 hour and then a full bar another hour and whatever. And now it's really just gotten to the point where I eat a bar and 5 minutes later I'm checking to see what time it is because I really want to eat another one. And 5 minutes after that I really want to eat another one. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to eat even more when I get into town. Yeah. That way to Mount Rainier. That way to Yakima. All right, we're at the top of our second big climb for the day, and I think last big climb. Way over there is a little kind of rest stop that we walked through earlier, hoping we could dump our trash there. And then we came across Sheep Lake down there, and we got some water, filtered it down there, and now we're up here. And at the top and ready to head down. Hallelujah. Wow. Gorgeous. I don't know what highway that is down there, but some big road down there. Gorgeous clouds. And just like that, we're back in the fog again. Wasn't expecting that. It looked like it was gonna rain. Sprinkled a little bit. Forest ranger we saw was checking permits, told us that there were going to be thunderstorms this afternoon. Kind of freaked everybody out, but I've had a cell signal and been checking the weather in every city around here, and it all says rain and no thunderstorms. So I'm thinking we're going to be okay, but there's actually a rare shelter on trail, which we're not going to make do, I'm sure. We're not even talking about it, but several people are kind of racing for it so they can get out of the rain and the supposed thunderstorms. Hey, well, we're only a couple miles away from our last water source for the day, and wanted to just go there because, you know, straight there without stopping, because we're going to tent somewhere close after that, which I'll mention something about that here in a second. But I had to stop and put on my windbreaker and get my gloves, which are really my socks that I wear to bed at night. And I've also got some rain mitts to go over them. But anyway, because it is cold. It just got really cold towards the end of the day here. So I'm sure it's going to be a really cold night. We were not expecting it to be this cold in Washington. It's a little bit unusual. The guy that picked us up the other day, up at the end of that fire closure, told us that, yeah, normally it's, you know, in the 80s around town around here, and then, you know, maybe the 70s in the mountains. And now, you know, right now it's like the 60s around town, the towns around here. And, you know, I mean, half the day today it's been in the 40s, and the rest of the day it might have been in the 50s, you know. It's been cold all day. So anyway, the other thing I was going to mention, well, we just realized, I don't know why people don't talk about this on the trail or whatever, but we just realized that we're in an area now. We walked into it today, and are here for the next 223 miles or something like that, where we're either required to have a bear canister to keep our food in at night, or to hang our food. And they've got these requirements, you know, a minimum of 10 feet off the ground and 4 feet away from anything else, like another branch or trunk or something like that. Well, first of all, as you can see right now, I'm walking through a burnout area. That's not going to work. But even when we're in a good area, the trees are, you know, all like pine trees and things like that. There's nothing to hang. You know, it's going to be extremely difficult to find somewhere to hang where you have a branch that's, you know, branch needs to be 15 to 20 feet off the ground. So when you hang the bag, it's down, you know, it's up high enough. And it's got to be far enough away from all these other branches and stuff below it. Well, you know, you need a deciduous tree for something like that. So I don't know what we're going to do. We certainly don't have bear canisters, and we're not going to have them. You know, by the time we had them shipped out here, it would be through this section. So we'll see. We might be sleeping with our food and hoping bears don't try to get it. I'm going to look and see if I can find a good place to hang food, and if I can't, then we'll resort to that. All right, good morning. Here is where we tented last night. Didn't take any video or anything because we were making a mad dash to get all set up before the real rain started. It was just kind of a little drizzly, but boy, we got it all done. I mean, this was just, you know, this is just in the middle of the woods. Like, there's no trail anywhere near. And so we just came across the spot like that and started tearing it apart because it looked somewhat level, and except a little bit of an angle where water would run off instead of pooling under the tent. And so anyway, we spent a lot of time. We jumped in, and it started raining just a couple minutes after we got in, so it worked out perfectly. But anyway, it was a cold night. I think all the nights are going to be cold now. I'm just kind of showing you where we came from to get here. I was just we saw a little bit, what looked like a little bit of a crest where it might be some flatness. When we were down here on the trail, you could look up here and just kind of see, oh, up over the top it might be flat. So I dug up through the woods, and we just found something to make it work. Part of the reason we had to do that is because we're in a pretty slanted area here. Another reason is because we had been hiking through a big burn area, and you know, can't really tent in a burn area because every tree wants to fall over on you in the middle of the night, especially if there's a storm or something. And there's our trail. And there is actually a tent site up here with a bunch of spots, but there were a whole bunch of people that passed us yesterday at the end of the day, and that place was totally filled, so we needed to come back and find a better spot. Yesterday was so overcast. This is the first time I can remember seeing my shadow, yeah, since 2 evenings ago when I was washing my socks. So it's been way overcast today, and couldn't see anything off in the distance, and has been very cold until just 10 minutes ago. We stopped to get water at our water source. Water sources have been a little more scarce. We went about 10 miles to get to this one, and now we've got about just a little less than 12 miles to get to the next one. So not too big a deal though, because it's nice enough out here that we're not really having to use much water. So we're still just carrying maybe 1.5 liters, which is not bad. In the desert, we'd be carrying 3.5 liters and miserable. Haven't seen one of these guys for quite a while.